Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're tackling something absolutely fascinating, a deeply human subject. We're going to dive into J. Krishnamurti's philosophical analysis of exactly why humanity relentlessly seeks out religion and God. So, let's jump right into his talks and really break down his logic step by step.
Section 1. The truth behind seeking. Before we can even answer why we seek the divine, Krishnamurti points out this incredibly persistent feeling we all get. Think about it. We eat, we sleep, we put a roof over our heads, we just live, and eventually we die. But deep down, there's this echoing sense that there simply must be more to our existence than just these mechanical routines. It's like a persistent itch, right? So he asks a really crucial question. What in our nature is always drawing closer to what we call religion or God? He's actually inviting us to reflect not on the external idea of God, but on the internal, psychological forces driving us. What exactly is that magnetic pull? Why, across centuries and continents, has humanity consistently looked for something higher, something beyond ourselves?
To get to the bottom of this, he poses a direct question to his audience, and honestly, I'll pose it directly to you right now. Is this whole pursuit simply a fearful projection? Is it just a desperate cry for help because of our own inner pain? Or is it something very real, something necessary, and a sign of genuine intelligence? Basically, are we just inventing a protector because we're scared, or are we intuitively reaching out for an ultimate truth? That right there is the core dilemma.
Now, what's really interesting here is how Krishnamurti illustrates the universality of this existential void. He argues that this isn't just a question for traditionally religious folks. Anyone who is awake, anyone who is reasonably intelligent, inevitably asks this. He actually uses a highly specific example to prove this point. Even the most grounded, ideologically driven individuals, like loyal communists, experience this. Despite having a super rigid framework for how the world works, they too look at the suffering and pain around them and ask, is this all there is? Is there nothing else? It's just a beautifully objective observation that bypasses politics entirely to touch on a fundamental human reality.
Moving on to Section 2, the definition of a healthy mind. To really understand the seeking mind, we kind of have to define its opposite. So Krishnamurti asks us to imagine something pretty radical. What is the state of a mind that is completely, entirely free of fear? I want you to genuinely think about that for a second. If you had literally zero fear, zero anxiety about the future or your own existence, would you still desire protection? Would you still feel the need to worship or pray to something? Or does the need to seek something out just vanish the moment fear vanishes?
He uses a phenomenal analogy here, comparing physical health directly to psychological health. Think of it this way. If your body is perfectly healthy, you don't go looking for a doctor. You aren't desperately reading diet books, and you definitely aren't waking up every morning to watch TV fitness experts do their routines, right? You just live. Well, in exactly the same way, a perfectly healthy, rational mind, which he defines as a mind totally free of fear and sorrow, has absolutely no need to go to a church. It doesn't need a savior. The very pursuit of these things is actually a symptom of not being healthy.
So the crucial takeaway here is this. If a healthy mind doesn't seek out God or religion, who does? Krishnamurti's conclusion is quite stark. He says that only a wounded, restricted, fearful, and deeply lonely mind naturally seeks out external help. It is exactly because we feel this misery and isolation that we project the idea of God, saviors, and the entire religious realm. It's an invention born straight from our own psychological pain and our desperate need for a comforting, protective agent.
Which brings us to Section 3, the illusion of external salvation.
If we've invented these external agents to cure our loneliness and fear, we really have to look objectively at the historical track record. Have they actually worked? Over millennia, humanity has relied on an incredible array of external authorities and intercessors. We've looked to God, to various saviors, to political and spiritual leaders, to missionaries, and to priests. We have literally tried every conceivable outward medium to find comfort, to seek guidance, and to cure that deep inner ache we talked about at the very beginning of this explainer.
But here is the objective, undeniable reality that Krishnamurti points out. Despite all of these saviors, despite all the churches, the leaders, and the missionaries, they just haven't freed humanity from suffering. The fear, the loneliness, the sorrow, they remain entirely unresolved. We've projected all of our hopes onto these external entities, but the root of our psychological misery hasn't been cured at all. Honestly, we're still exactly where we started.
And that leads us to our final part, Section 4, Becoming Your Own Light.
So clearly, we need a complete paradigm shift. If the outside world can't save us, where on earth do we go? Well, to achieve this shift, Krishnamurti draws a really sharp line between our outward energy and our inward reality. Just think about the massive collaborative energy and drive it took to land on the moon. Think about the incredible capacity of the human brain that allowed us to invent highly complex surgical instruments. We have this boundless, amazing energy for outward technological miracles. But inwardly, we're lazy, we're totally indifferent. We just want to rely on other people to do the heavy lifting for us, and as a result of this internal ignorance, we are literally destroying the Earth. We have the brain capacity, for sure, but we flat out refuse to apply it to our own psychology.
Because we're so internally lazy, we kind of just wait around for someone to hand us the cure. But Krishnamurti offers a harsh, yet strangely liberating truth. No one is going to give you the water of health. We have to stop waiting for a leader, a guru, or a savior to magically bring us the water that'll make us healthy again. That external solution, it simply does not exist.
Instead, his whole philosophy boils down to this one central idea: be your own light. Now, what does that actually mean in practice? It means achieving total psychological independence. It means not relying on anyone else for your internal state. If we can just apply that same immense energy we used to go to the moon, but direct it inward to observe ourselves completely, without running away from what we see, we can actually act without conflict, without sorrow, and without regret. It's really all about facing ourselves directly.
And that leaves us with this final, lingering thought. According to the source material, the real reason we invented God is because of our own internal apathy. And because we don't understand ourselves, we end up destroying each other and this beautiful earth we live on. So the question you have to walk away with today is this: are we finally willing to do the hard work? To use our vast intelligence to observe ourselves fearlessly? Or will we just continue to look for external saviors while we let our apathy destroy the world? It's a profound choice, and it's entirely in your hands. Thank you so much for joining this explainer. Keep observing.